Lives were saved, and the town still stands. That is the best reward I can ask for.
Spoken like a true hero, the Jarl says.
That guy's just kissing ass.
There are people that cheer. There are people that cheer at this, and some women come up and stick flowers in your bits of your armor. And
if you want colorful cape, you need to taste some backside.
Oh, I get it.
And then Uka gives you like a smile and a nod. Yeah.
Gallus looks at him like, "You are a strange man."
What should Lemmy ask for?
A big pot of gold!
His Lucky Charms? Does he want his Lucky Charms?
Hearts and gold, rainbows, and the full moons.
Lemmy might ask for like seeds from all the plants in the region. I don't know if he's like a planter druid. Does he want tree bits?
I thought Lemmy wanted to know. There's an email from Ahmed, I think, that goes into this.
Yes, there is. I will use it.
In addition to the knowledge that you have been willing to share with us, I offer the Jarl a trade. That's actually Oberon's voice. I offer the Jarl a trade for me to share spell knowledge, for access to the spells and libraries of your court wizard. Oberon asks for basically access /
magical lore! Knowledge is power!
Magic lore. He looks to Ygritte kind of assesses Oberon. She gives a slight nod, and then the Jarl does. This is fine.
So in here, he wants to know about Groomsh. He also wants to know a way back to Yggdrasil. I think the Groomsh one, maybe. These people seem to know more about it than we do.
I'm very concerned with these intruders, these orcs. They seem to worship a fell god named Groomsh. You notice that the High Watcher and the Land Giver also make like signs when they signs get ward away from the word Groomsh. I'm from the Yggdrasil, you see, but I came by way of these stones. I'm not too sure how to get back to Yggdrasil. If I could have some help. I can help with this. This is Silver Monkey. With the Jarl's permission. Asks for directions to Yggdrasil. Of course, we will share the information that we have about our enemy, these Orkneska, and these orcs, he says like it's a new word or a newer word to him. Silver Monkey is our resident druid. If she pledges her aid, then aid you shall get in this regards. For she hails from the land of lakes. Oh, thank you. Let me mutters to himself.
It's not bad. It's not bad.
I could have just asked her then.
That's the... I didn't ask for the cookie recipe. I'm just going to ask the lady for the cookie recipe once I learn how to speak Icelandic.
I ask for access to a hot enough forge for us to bend metal says the dwarf. The emissary is a smith, I see. Well, then you should get along with Weald. I doth grant not only access to our facilities, to our stables, if there is anything within reason that these heroes require from the people or places of this town, know that you do have the Jarl's blessing. Give me a sense motive.
Okey-doke. What is
23, 25 if he's lying.
2!
Or 25 if he's using the bluff skill.
He really wants you to stay around.
There's probably a really bad orc army somewhere in the neighborhood.
Here, put on these bracelets that will kill you if you travel too far away from the town, or something. I saw that episode of Stargate.
Okay, yeah, he's impressed with you guys, and maybe this is a way to indirectly gain prestige with a 23.
Let's just see what Lemmy knows. The Lemon Man. Come on, Lemon Man. 27 on the Lemon Man.
God damn it.
27? Yeah, that's pretty much the same. He's seeing you guys as a path to power.
He's going to have a big party and invite all of his friends, and everybody's going to look at the heroes and say, these are my guys. See how they're not wearing those bracelets? Yeah, we got rid of those bracelets. My guys don't wear bracelets no more.
We also realize that there's kind of maybe a hero worship culture here. Like, it's strong individuals sort of thing, where he's trying to harness the strong individualism.
Yeah.
Miko, I do believe that my Jarl, if I may, leave it to the Lapland, leave it to the Lakelander to break decorum, says the Jarl with a joke, and there's some people that chuckle because the Jarl made a joke. Miko comes forward and bows with a flourish.
It wasn't very funny.
Gallus just smiles.
The Jarl's gracious gifts and favors have blessed you all, is what he says. Miko's a talker, apparently. But I do know, and I do know that his thanks is also felt by the people of this town, for those that witnessed and heard of what you did to help save us without a thought. There are those with the Jarl's blessing from the town that wish to also bequeath their thanks, although humble as it may be, to those that have gathered here. Yes, the Jarl says. Let these strangers become friends, and may they too one day call this place home, says the Jarl. There are some that come and give you small gifts and tokens and baskets, and basically for the next month you probably don't need to buy food.
That's nice.
Weald steps forward for helping defend the smithy of Wayland, the smith of the gods. I shall fashion a magic weapon for one of you. Axe, sword, a proper weapon. He stands up to the side.
What? Is he? You got a problem with bows? It's a fine weapon.
For those that came with the White Wizard, may his soul rest with the gods. I gift a necklace from my own person. Ygritte gives the party a necklace of white agates and moonstones. The center stone is a pearl of power, first level.
Cool.
Hey,
Oh, I got Mother's blessings,
oh,
says Sandor the Smiling. It's approved. I promise a 10% discount on anything in my shop at the Diverse. You should all shop there. He's nodding.
All right.
Except for magical things, is what he says. He nods and
Okay.
he's smiling. I shall share in the secrets of the Ostra Spring. This is Salr Wyrmbein. With those that wish to attune to it. The warriors are mighty, says Svarkglow. But they can improve. If you want to learn how to swing your axes and take a hit. He just nods.
you offer to train warrior classes?
Yeah, he's offered to train. I think Salr Wyrmbein just did as well.
I didn't know.
Zelda just doesn't know any.
If there was a pause there, Uka would have mentioned, I don't know if the spell's working right, I have no idea what you said.
I don't know what he said either, but it sounds painful.
This
think
one
I'll
I
pass.
understand. That one's very clear.
I think he just offered to box your ears.
And if the heroes ever get tired of the dusty bone halls of the past heroes and the gods and want a slight reprieve, he says with a chuckle, they are free to stay under my roof for as long as I own one, and they shall know my hospitality for free. And there are people that cheer at that.
Well, sounds good.
These are wonderful gifts, is what the Jarl says. I approve. Like, he again is trying to maneuver so that things are flowing.
I
through him.
gave you a magic sword and the necklace and yeah.
Yes. Before we drink, before we hold our solemn funerals, and then before we drink to the gods and to the fallen, and to celebrate our new friends, justice must be done. People seem to clear, and actually Ingrid's inviting you to step off to the side.
Oh, okay, yeah. Make room.
What does he mean by justice?
Being dragged into the room, kind of dressed in other underclothing, and look like they're beaten up a little bit, is a half-orc. I don't have a mini. I just grab one from the death pile.
The kill pile.
Yeah, half-orc warrior 8. We'll call him Orc Nesker. And then also being dragged in is Omast From, their captain of their guard.
The drunk guy?
Yep.
He was fucking useless. So
You actually hear the Jarl turn to the High Watcher and, what is the Orc's name? What is the Orc Nesker's name again? Traitors. Long have we suffered the depredations of the Orc Nesker, the swamp dwellers, as they have incurred upon our lands, and in my act of mercy forefathers have granted homes and succor behind our walls to some of these Orc Nesker. And while I'm still convinced by my counsel that not all the Orkneska are against us. There are some that have abused, and he points his finger at the Orkneska before you, named Tregor. There are some that have abused this trust. This attack could not have happened if two things were right. First, apparently he likes lists.
How lawful of him.
First, if the trust was not returned, this Orkneska Tregor used our trust against us and helped plan the attacks. Maps and drawings, paintings and ropes were found. He, amongst others, had marked the places. And while he does not admit, I am convinced in a father's heart that he was also behind the death of my son. I, as your Jarl, speak for the power here on the earth, and have, and shall, condemn this Orkneska. He shall be slain, hung by the neck until dead, and then spend a week in the gallows. Nay, a crow cage. Let him be a message to others who come here to abuse our trust.
Gallus steps forward.
Okay.
With all due respect, Jarl, this Orkneska deserves a trial.
Oh, already trying to tell him how to do things, huh? Okay, Paladin, you go.
There's a G on that LG. His guilt must be assured, lest we falsely kill an innocent man.
The evidence was in his home. You may, if it pleases you, have a look at it.
It's wood.
Maps, ropes, pretty big list.
Our guard captain and his failures are the second crime that allowed such an attack to happen. Not only under his watch did my son succumb to assassins. Assassins whose heads are not crushed before me. Only excuses. And then when came time of the attack, which he had no knowledge of, not even an inkling, he was not in his right capacity to even defend. For this and many other failures that have led up to this, failure to protect the Jarlson, failure to find the murderers, to notice the infiltrators, for failure to stand his duty in battle, I condemn him to shameful death by stoning. Every man, woman, and child in Runeshoyde shall cast a stone at this man until death takes him. There will be no glory for you, worm. there will be no Valhalla for Ormast from. Let anyone in the village who does not cast a stone be brought before me in chains.
What the fuck? Azildan's kind of like looking at his new companions like, what? Am I the only one who thinks this is nuts?
I will poke the Galeth in the back.
They are dragging these guys out, and they've got a nice special room for these two guys at the barracks.
Tell the Earl that I will only throw stone if I throw first stone.
My large friend here says that he will only throw a stone at that condemned man if he is to throw the first stone.
The Earl raises an eyebrow. He actually seems mildly amused. He can throw an anvil for all I care, and there is actually some people that laugh at that. as there are those that witnessed Uger throwing an anvil at an orc. Granted, is what he says. That is all. Tomorrow we shall feast when the grim tasks of justice and burning our dead are done.
That was a merciful thing you did, my gigantic friend.
Now I need a big stone.
Plenty of those about.
Okay.
Uker's planning more of a dropping type stoning.
All right, so you guys are basically now left to your own devices. I'm going to copy the Pearl of Power to the party treasure sheet.
Okay.
And then I think you guys should put the final touches on the things that you want to do for training, maybe while we take a 5-minute break.
Okay.
And then we can talk about the treasure that gets divvied and how much money you have to
Spend it on training and things.
Yeah. But I think I guess the scene where you guys are gonna partake in the stoning of a man to death and overlooking some of the evidence might be the next scene that we do. Just kind of give some information.
And that is for the next day.
That's
correct?
the next day. Yeah.
Yeah. I will prep my scrolls accordingly.
So I think this day is you guys overlooking all of the goods that are brought to Salr Wyrmbein and kind of placed down in the place. Like, basically Salr Wyrmbein's your house at this point. Although people are still coming inside Salr Wyrmbein to lay flowers and small funerary tokens to the White Wizard. Yeah.
Apparently, my sweet lover, the hammer that won't move, will have to wait another day for me.
Wait, the hammer is your lover? Oh, weird.
Apparently.
Okay, so
Oh God.
with that with
Hammer
that in mind-
sexual, huh?
Hammer time.
I'm a ham sexual. You thought it was just ham, didn't you?
Oh God. Okay, so we'll pause.
Hammers, hamsters, whatever.
Hamsters. Oh no. Okay. This is going off the rails. I'm muting you guys so we can take a short break. We'll be right back here on DieDragonDie presents the Legends campaign. No hamsters. Okay, we're back.
4 times 2. Marty?
Yeah, so I'm going to drag your miniatures over to
Okay.
to Salr Wyrmbein. Ingrid basically offers, like, if you need anything, you can ask her.
Okay. Uker describes. Give me one moment.
As villagers begin to bring the treasures that they stacked up for you at the hall back to the Salr Wyrmbein.
Okay.
And several of the guards actually post guards outside, like are actually patrolling just outside the building, just in case, like to make sure that no one comes to maybe try to steal your things or to give a show that you're important. That this might end after a while, or they're standing ceremoniously on guard for the old wizard's funeral.
What is their wall made out of?
What wall?
The walls that surround this place, all over the place?
Down below, it's wood. There are
These
some
things.
stone masonry.
Okay. Masonry?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm just trying to figure out how big of a piece of masonry we can lift.
Oh yeah, there's plenty of rubble from that one fallen tower. So
Yeah. That's what I'm thinking.
Uger's gonna go fetch a block.
Yeah. For what's needed. We're going to say this is medium concrete, which is not our dense concrete. We'll call it a medium concrete. That works for me.
Yeah, Uker's got a ridiculous strength. So if you see Adam doing like density of materials to figure out how things weigh, like this is going to be a theme throughout the campaign where it's like how, like last game he threw an anvil as an attack weapon, like a.
It was awesome.
Yeah, it was great. Like a 300-pound iron anvil, which actually isn't that big to be that.
No, that's a normal ass anvil.
Yeah.
A little bit bigger than standard. I think standard anvils are 100 pounds. Yeah. So right. So 1.5.
Okay, so while you're figuring that out, I'm gonna start reading off some of the things that you did, or some of the treasure that you got. We already offline rolled as per their identifying the treasure, which will happen over a course of days. But they've already divvied the treasure offline as if this already occurred, or they had time to do this, which they will in a moment. So Galeth gets the Masterwork breastplate, a Masterwork bow that is a strength bow, and a Masterwork warhammer. He gets the Scabbard of Honing, which is a magical scabbard that sharpens your blade really quickly, and a couple of potions. Uker got some +1 studded leather. He got the war scythe that the head of the attack was using, is a +1 war scythe. He also gets an Iron Stone that helps him if he ever enters negative hit points. It kind of gives him more of a buffer before he dies, which is important for a barbarian.
Barbarian!
Some masterwork equipment related to the dogs and mounts, a few potions, this weird thing called Formula Alembic, that allows you to kind of reverse engineer the spells that went into a potion. And then the alchemist had a formula book that will end up in Uker's care. Zildin got a magical cloak of resistance +1.
Awesome.
He got an interesting item called the Kin's Face Mask, which basically when you put on you, it disappears into your face, and it looks like you've got all sorts of like ritualistic scarring and tattoos on your face.
Okay.
3 times per day. This is only usable by half-breeds. 3 times per day you can alter yourself into a human that looks like you, or into an elf that looks like you.
That's pretty cool.
And then it otherwise functions as alter self. So they can recognize you as you, but you look like the race in question.
Cool.
And then you got a spare bow, a Masterwork Composite Longbow, Strength 16, and a Masterwork Battle Axe,
nice.
some magical arrows, including some adamantine arrows, a few potions and stuff. Lemio got a Wand of Inflict Wounds, a Potion of Lesser Restoration, a Potion of Invisibility, and the White Wizard's Wand was basically like a wooden stick that you can magically put in other wands. Up to 2 of them can go inside this wand. That way you don't need to switch up your wands. It's called the Wand of 2 Wands. So Lemio can put in almost like a cartridge up to 2 wands inside this other wand and basically be treated as if holding one. This helps with economy of action when you're trying to switch between wands. So that's one of the White Wizard's items that he dropped outside of Salr Wyrmbein near the runestone. Oberon got a +1 light crossbow because wizard. Well, I actually got
Low-level wizard
wizard
still needs a crossbow.
some potions. He has a number of scrolls which he made during downtime start to scribble into his spellbook, and then some components. He took 2 of the other items that came from the White Wizard. The robes of the White Wizard act like abrasures of armor and help on his concentration checks, and then the Ring of Arcane Lore gives him a +1 bonus on his Knowledge Arcana. The sigil on the ring, however, is rubbed off, perhaps with age. Lokrik got a Masterwork Sling and a Potion of Cure Light Wounds. There wasn't much there for him to take. There are several items that I guess there's a discussion about. What to do with the White Wizard's items. Oberon is very interested in having you guys use them. He doesn't want to sell them. The party is making a sell pile with a lot of the items that aren't useful to them, and we've already kind of collected that offline. A lot of the masterwork weapons and things that were captured that the players can't necessarily use. Oberon, I think we should keep these things from this wizard. They are quite useful.
Dug in the boogan.
I don't know why you keep on calling him this. I don't know what that word means.
It means him. It is his name. Great hero. His wife should get ring.
He appears to be dead.
That is why wife get ring.
I suspect that this might be his arcane bond ring.
Ring of bond. Family bond.
Not that sort of bond, you dullard.
How do you know he's got a wife anyway?
He's a great hero. He must have wife.
When we meet her,
Well, my master was a great hero. He didn't have a wife.
Did you see him all the time?
For 30 years, yeah. You'd think she would have showed up at some point. Or maybe you would have at least mentioned her.
Mm. Uker starts to giggle. He thought of something funny.
okay.
Maybe you were wife.
And Zilda, genuinely, I don't get it.
I say that we use these until we find relatives of this white wizard.
Don't get blood on rope.
I don't plan on it.
Most important, don't get your own blood on rope.
He decides. He puts on the ring, and he at first it looked like the ring was going to fall off his slender elven fingers, but the ring went and shrunk down to.
Uker's like, also keep these. Tick, 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 tick. He's got 4 potion bottles. Tick, 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 tick.
Oh, you want him to take those 4 things? Okay. He will take the 4 potions for those that are at home. We had a chuckle about some of the orcs were carrying protection from good potions. So yeah.
Tick, 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 tick.
Over on the hero. We'll take the protection from good potions. I'm sure there's got to be a practical use for that for a good adventuring party. Gifts for evil people.
That would not be the right thing.
This is for you. Gifts to insult good people.
Right.
Sure you can use these?
It's for those, like, lawful good conquerors that just charm everybody. Everybody calm! I want to be mad! Give me the right to be mad!
Sorry, John.
No,
I had you muted for the last little bit. Whoops.
Well, that's fine. And so you walk by and go,
anything.
do you want this protection from good potion? Sure. Then you must be evil! Smites!
It's a trap!
It's a sting operation. Paladin sting.
I also think we should not sell these 2 things. He's talking about the geode and the beautiful elven blade. So maybe describe the blade that you found in the scabbard of honing. While this does not radiate any magic, there's a considerable amount of effort putting into here. The blade itself of this curved blade is made from mithril, which means the blade will mimic the properties of silver without being soft. The intricate design is definitely elven handiwork. This inscription here in Elvish says, "The Song of the Dancing Star." Oh, and it has a nice gem in the pommel. This is Lokrik, who's kind of appraising it for maybe its monetary value. Yes,
It is a beautiful sword.
the pommel is a carved dragon head made out of ivory, and there's an emerald stuck in the dragon's mouth that is the bottom of the sword. It's stylized to have shadowy patterns across the flat of its silvery blade, and along with the etched inscription. And the inscription that he points out is, it says, "The Song of the Dancing Star." I would guess that this thing is worth at least 3 magical blades. Just in its metals and artwork. Exactly the reason why we shouldn't sell it or melt it down. It would require a very hot forge to melt mithril, something that I doubt it was. Gopron's pacing like he's
So we
frustrated
get
with
what
you
we-
guys easily.
Look, we get what you're saying. It's a piece of art. Let's not ruin it, right?
No, we find collector for art and we sell, and then we buy things to make potion, ink.
Or we could just have a nice piece of art. I'm just saying.
I believe that there's enough things for us to sell here. He points to the big pile of weapons that nobody will have any interest in.
Yeah, I don't know why you guys gave me this axe. I don't like axes.
What if somebody?
Do you want a longsword instead, Mark?
Face and you're both no good.
Or do you want to carry
That makes you look.
the elven
It makes you
blade?
look more intimidating.
Oh, I've got a spear. It's good. Thanks.
Zombie. Zombie.
Okay.
Zombie.
A Zildin can't use battle axes.
Aren't you a ranger?
No.
Oh, right, he's a cleric monk.
Oh, he's a cleric. He was. Oh, see. Oh, we derped up.
Did you find nunchucks on the on the orcs? I can use those.
How about one of those 3-section
You
stabs?
need to pronounce them nunchucks. Nunchucks.
Chucklehead. So
Completely
Uber,
different from a light flail.
is going to go to the ruined tower, and he's looking for a piece that's about 2 meters by 1 meter by 1 meter.
Sorry, what are these meters?
By 1 arm length by 2 arm lengths by 1 arm length.
D&D's feet, man.
Sorry, a 6 foot by 3 foot by 3 foot
Yeah.
or so.
Yeah, approximately 3 feet per meter.
Yeah. Something in or around
Meters
there.
very close to a yard. Over long distances, yeah, it doesn't really add up, but you know.
Let's start
It's-
measuring weight in stones. That'll make things easy.
32 pounds per stone. 16 pounds per stone? 16 pounds per stone.
I have no idea, Adam.
I don't know, dude.
I'd have to look it up too.
Hence the sarcasm when I called it easy.
Not
Sorry, I
Okay, so yeah.
Hard
so
heads.
a yard by
14 pounds per stone.
how big is this stone?
It's a yard by 2 yards.
So
It's twice the size of the back of a pickup truck.
Okay, and you can lift this.
With some spells.
So
I carry it to. I ask where the execution's going to be held, and then I bring this stone to the execution place. On
they
the first
seem to
day.
be doing this in the field of blood and metal. They are erecting a gallows.
Okay. I will drink a mutagen. I will drink a full strength potion. I will drink an enlarged person. I also drink an expedition's retreat so I can get there faster. And I will pick up the thing and just walk it because it's within my heavy load. So I'm just going to walk it up there.
Okay, so everyone sees Uker with a big stone on his back as he's running through the stone. People are gawking and pointing, and gaggles of children following him. And you're just going to put the stone down in the
I'm just going to put it in the field of blood and metal.
Okay.
Remove the stone of shame. Attach the stone of triumph.
Fellas,
Oh.
fellas, as Uker's walking by with the stone, fellas, where I come from, I'm pretty much about as strong as they get. Where you come from, can a lot of folks do that? So I got to admit, it's a bit unusual in my own eyes. I don't know.
Hey, he's really fucking strong, isn't he? Isn't he, Stumpworth?
It's remarkable.
Well, Stumpworth really.
A man
doesn't
like
know how
that
to
would
talk
make
yet.
a most gallant knight.
If you can find a horse that would be strong enough to have him on his back,
I'd likely throw the horse.
the horse would ride him.
I suppose that would be a
All of
challenge.
you guys are on the front porch gawking at Uker, who's moving like
6,000 pound.
a 6,000-pound stone.
Yeah, just 3 tons, whatever.
Yeah.
How many stones is that?
It's.
Divided by
I
16
also
or
checked how much mass or how much just raw mass you need to crush a skull. We're 4 times higher than that. We should be good. We'll be good and crushed.
Lokrik just nods at Uker like he knows that your strength will be worthy of song and tale, so he's just happy to be traveling, or
Yeah.
it's not multiple Oberons that he has to deal with. Okay, so
giant stone and it's awesome.
there's much a buzz as the wiser people begin to realize Uker's plan well ahead of time. As you shake the ground around you, as you drop your big rock. Yeah, so now as a DM, I'm going to decide how much damage a falling...
I don't know if I want to just put it over him and drop. I'm going to line it up and just put it on him. A human skull will pop at 1,000 pounds pressure, so this is going to be 6,000 pounds of pressure, or 6,000 pounds of force. The skull will just pop.
It'll be a coup de grace attempt versus ludicrous damage. Got it.
Roll a 20.
Actually, you don't want to roll the 20.
Well, I mean, to survive. That's
Yeah.
if that's your goal.
So Uker does that. I think the party begins to sort through weapons and things this day. Sorting through the treasure is probably what part of the day is done. Oberon is going to start doing the identifications. And he probably needs someone to help, so Lokrik, given that he's got some skills, will help with that. Uker then spends, I think, the day looking through the potions.
Yep.
Can Lemio help? Does he actually have knowledge?
Knowledge Arcana?
Lemio
spellcraft.
has a couple ranks in spellcraft.
He's got a +8, yeah, so he's also aiding with the identification process. So Lokrik will probably use all of his spells for the day. Just identify. Basically, getting through all of those items from 2 spell pools. With your aid, you'll probably be able to do the identification in a day. So I'm going to start keeping track of what you guys are doing in your downtime. So there is one day, and I think we had a calendar. Give me a second. On the Goinal journal. It is the 30th day of Hawthorne, 607th turn of the 3rd Plexian cycle. They probably don't call it that. You know what they do.
Why ever not?
Yeah. Calendars usually kept tracked by priests. Priests are probably pretty anal about these things, so... let's see. So the attack happened on the 30th of Hawthorne, and then in Worlds and Locations I have something called a calendar. No, Journals, Lore, and Records calendar. Calendar of Many Trees. So their calendar is based off of like real-world Celtic tree calendar. And the calendar is 30th day of Hawthorne, so actually the first day of summer is the day that you arrived. It is the 1st of Oak. I'll use... they have actual name, like Celtic names for the months. I'll use the anglicized versions.
Okay.
So the 1st of Oak... you meet with the Jarl, you rebuke his offer to become Revarm, and then you received rewards, and then Uker gathers a very big stone, a very
Drop
big
on a guy's head.
piece of masonry, and then the party sorts and identifies treasure. You guys know that Oberon has now got a fresh, clean book that he's writing in, that he's keeping track of every magic item that he has come across and identified himself. He keeps track of what the item was and the notes that he's got it in. So he's got like I won't keep track of this specifically in game, but there is a running tally of like magical things that he found.
He's categorizing the world.
For sure. So eventually this book might actually grant bonuses to somebody else who is doing identification when there's enough lore inside the book. So cool beans. Is there
Does
anything
he
else?
just have like ticks beside like the cloak of resistance, tick.
just keeps on. No, he's gonna probably make a separate entry for everyone because magic can be woven in different ways to achieve the same result.
Cool.
So this might actually help with crafting after a while too. So it's just something that he's going to do. He's also got a separate book that is more about lore. Apparently he's more bard than the bard is. Where he did stop and he took like a scribbly note of that thing that was written in Herothel's epitaph, but he's now carefully scribing it in his downtime, I guess, into a book where he's putting the giant version in and he actually translates it to Elven so that other people can read. He doesn't bother translating it to other languages. So the first of Oak is spent that day. The second of Oak, some guards actually arrive for Sir Galeth.
Are they polite?
Yeah.
We let them have him.
Hey!
If they're impolite, then no.
Do you want him conscious?
Should we gift wrap that for him?
It's actually some guards, and the High Watcher arrives. Ingrid is at his side.
Galeth comes out to meet them.
You express to the Jarl that you wish to look upon the things that we found
Yes.
in the Orknesker's home.
Yes, let me ask you a question first.
Okay.
Do you believe the Orknesker is guilty, as the Jarl says he is?
Yes. While it pains me for people that are in this town that have received the blessings of the gods to have turned their backs, this Orknesker was not prominent in his vocation. He was a laborer, a painter, who did odd jobs. Perhaps he felt that a new order he would be more rewarded. Amongst his things were found paraphernalia of this orcish war god with one eye, a blasphemy in Odin's eye.
Do you have a confession from him?
I have not had a chance to speak with him. It is in my right as High Watcher of Heimdall to go and speak to him, although I am hesitant to step on the Jarl's command.
It is right that all men should have a chance to confess their sins before they are put to death. If indeed his guilt is beyond all doubt.
He glances down at your silvery gauntlet. Nuada is close to Tyr in the heavens, is he not?
Yes. That is so.
There are many strange rites that Tyrins have in places on Volsgard to determine a man's innocence or guilt. Perhaps we can turn to Tyrin law and petition the Jarl. It would likely mean the same. Of course, there is also the right trial by combat. But
If
then-
it is true that he has done as the Jarl has said, then he deserves the fate of a traitor. Many innocent people lost their lives because of someone who betrayed this town. That is an unforgivable act.
Trial by combat.
When you say trial by combat, do you mean that he would fight in his place? Or have another stand champion for him?
For someone such lowly in station, such a request would usually be denied. However, if pressed, the Jarl may grant the request of his new favored friends, those that dwell in the ancient hall of Dragonbone. Still, he would likely call upon one of you to fight. This man was an infiltrator, a traitor. He is no warrior. There is no honor in this. He walks to the he walks to the shield house with you. Ingrid is just following quietly behind you guys.
I will think on it. It is the way of the Silver Hand that such matters be dealt with fairly. Enemies given a chance to fight when it is proper to do so. On even footing.
Okay. High Watcher, I'm here to see the prisoners. Yes, High Watcher, they cannot be removed from their cells, but you may speak to them through the bars. I understand. Yeah, the guards of the shield house quickly step aside, and they go into like a root cellar of a under basement that's kind of carved into the rock, and they do not question, with Ingrid following behind. Perhaps Ingrid actually maybe has learned to become a paladin from the High Watcher. You're not sure.
Detect evil on Traitors.
On Traitors? Okay, so you raise your silvery hand, and there's an obvious glow coming from the hand as you are.
This is just the single target effect, so I know instantly.
Yes, you know instantly as per the
Detect evil spell,
detect
as if
evil
it had been
spell.
3 rounds. Yeah.
If he's a wiener, he might not detect. Because I know there's a hit die limit on it.
Correct.
I think it's 5 hit die? Maybe 4? If he has 4 or lower hit die, or if he's a priest, he's boned.
Or he's undead, or he's an outsider,
there is a
or whatever.
faint evil that is registering off this creature.
Okay. And detect evil on...
He's skinny, like he's doesn't look like the miniature. It's just a placeholder. He's really rakishly skinny. He's got one broken tooth, one broken little tuskling. They're kind of jutting out at odd angles. He's really ugly. Pockmarked skin, perhaps from some disease when he was younger. His skin's kind of grayish. His orcish features are very pronounced. He's not like one of the Uruk-hai orcs. He'd be like one of the skinny kind of orcs that were in
Goblinoid-ish sort of.
Yeah. And then he's like a half-breed of one of those. And
Goblin men!
He looks with his beady little eyes of hatred to Ingrid and to the High Watcher and to Sir Galeth. What are you staring at? Quiet.
There is a taint upon him. Evil dwells in his heart.
Evil dwells in Loki's heart, yet still he is allowed in Valhalla.